Welcome to Tech I Spy. This episode is part of the exclusive podcast series where deep analysis meets clear thinking, no hype, no fluff, just pure signal, and all in beautiful audio. Here you will find companies buried deep in the tech stock exchanges that you may never have heard of otherwise. Let me know in the comments if you would like a more detailed video to be made. For now, however, we're zooming in on a company that lives on the bleeding edge of biotechnology, NanoString Technologies. They're not building gadgets. They're mapping the molecular architecture of life itself. With platforms like Encounter, GeoMx, and CosMx, they're helping scientists understand diseases down to the single cell, and maybe, just maybe, shaping the future of precision medicine. But in a world where science and business collide, innovation alone isn't enough. We'll unpack the strengths that make NanoString a serious contender, the weaknesses that keep investors up at night, the opportunities that could catapult them forward, and the threats that could pull the plug on it all. This is the real story behind the stock. No chart chasing, no clickbait, just intelligent insight for those brave enough to think long term. Let's get into it. Let's talk about strength. Real strength. Not the kind you lift in a gym, but the kind that's built from patents, platforms, and potential. NanoString Technologies, a name you may not hear around the dinner table, yet one whispered with reverence in research labs and biotech boardrooms. This is a company not just making machines, they're decoding the very structure of human life and their strengths. Oh, they are precise. At the heart of NanoString's prowess lies the Encounter analysis system. This isn't just a tool, it's a technological ballet of simplicity and power. A digital molecular barcoding technology, Encounter enables researchers to count hundreds of gene expressions simultaneously without amplification. No PCR, no fuss. It's fast, it's elegant, and it delivers reproducible data that researchers trust like a heartbeat. And here's the thing. In an age where data is king, Encounter is the sovereign scribe. But wait, this company didn't stop there. Enter GeoMx, the digital spatial profiler. Now this is art meets science. Imagine you could take a tumor sample and not only measure gene expression, but see where in the tissue each signal is coming from. GeoMx maps the molecular universe within a tissue, offering high-plex spatial resolution that was once considered science fiction. Researchers don't just want data anymore, they want context. And NanoString gives them both. And then comes CosMx. If GeoMx is the telescope, CosMx is the microscope. We're talking single cell, even subcellular resolution. Zooming in to see where molecules are living and interacting like a molecular surveillance system. For researchers studying complex systems like cancer microenvironments or neurodegeneration, CosMx is a revelation. It's the clarity they've been waiting for. Beyond the machines, there's the mind. NanoString owns a robust portfolio of intellectual property. Their patents are their shields, and their collaborations, especially with top-tier research institutions and pharma, are their alliances. They are embedded in the scientific community, not just selling to it, but innovating with it. This company also shines in another often overlooked arena, user experience. Researchers routinely report that NanoString platforms are not only powerful but accessible. No arcane protocols, no need for rocket science degrees to run a sample. They make powerful technology usable, which in a world driven by throughput and reproducibility is a major differentiator. In a time where spatial biology is transitioning from novelty to necessity, NanoString isn't chasing the trend. They helped start it. Their brand is respected. Their instruments are in over 30 countries. They're not just playing the game, they're writing the next rules. NanoString's strength is not just in the products it builds, but in the problems it solves. Cancer diagnostics, immune profiling, drug discovery. Cancer diagnostics, immune profiling, drug discovery. These are missions. And NanoString, for all its battles ahead, stands strong because it holds something few in biotech truly possess: relevance right now. Even the brightest minds cast a shadow. NanoString Technologies, for all its brilliance, is not without its faults. And in the ruthless world of biotech, a fault line isn't just a crack. It can become a chasm. Let's start with the obvious: scale. NanoString is a small-cap player in a high-stakes, capital-intensive field. Their revenue streams, while growing in bursts, are not consistently profitable. They burn cash like a spacecraft breaking orbit, and in a market that demands fiscal discipline, that's a red flag, not a red carpet. Their financial statements, not the stuff of Wall Street dreams. Margins are thin, net losses persistent, and investor confidence wobbly, especially when your competition, well-funded behemoths like 10x Genomics, has deeper pockets and sharper legal teeth. Ah yes, legal. The courtroom. NanoString has been tangled in costly litigation with 10x Genomics over spatial transcriptomics patents, and the outcomes unfavorable. In December 2023, they faced an import ban from the International Trade Commission, effectively cutting off sales of their GeoMix platform in the US that's not a paper. Cut. That's a scalpel to the jugular in your core market. Legal troubles don't just drain finances, they drain focus. They cast a shadow of uncertainty that scares off partners, slows adoption, and handcuffs innovation. Then there's the product pipeline. While GeoMix and Cosmix are impressive, the space they occupy is evolving rapidly. Their platforms require complex workflows and high upfront investment from users. And when alternatives start offering cheaper, faster, or more integrated solutions, NanoString risks being outpaced by the very wave it helped create. Innovation is relentless. Staying at the frontier isn't about what you invented last year. It's about what your competitors might invent tomorrow. And don't forget operational complexity. The company is juggling 3 flagship platforms, each with unique markets, maintenance demands, and marketing strategies. That's a logistical high-wire act. A stumble in supply chain, software integration, or customer training, and the entire experience begins to fray. NanoString doesn't have the scale or resources to absorb repeated missteps. One glitch in Cosmix's performance, one delay in reagent shipment. The impact is felt company-wide. Finally, there's the branding challenge. While respected in academia, NanoString lacks household name status in broader biotech. They're niche, even in a niche industry. Their technologies are powerful, but their visibility, patchy. In the business of biotech, perception matters. Grants, partnerships, stock performance, they're all tethered not just to what you build, but how loudly the world hears about it. And NanoString, they've been whispering while others are shouting. So yes, this is a company with power, with promise, but also with pressure points. And if it doesn't reinforce its foundation fast, those weaknesses, they won't just slow it down. They'll let others pass it by. Now we turn our eyes to the horizon. Because for all the weight NanoString carries, it's also standing at the edge of immense opportunity. Not just the kind found in spreadsheets, but the kind that reshapes entire fields of science. This is a company perched on a cliff of innovation, and the view from up here, it's breathtaking. Let's start with the expanding frontier of spatial biology. This isn't a passing trend, it's a revolution. Researchers want to know not just what genes are expressed, but where in the tissue they light up, and how that spatial context drives disease. NanoString was one of the first to see it coming. GeoMix was a trailblazer. Cosmix upped the game. And now, as the market matures, demand is erupting. Pharma companies need spatial insights for precision oncology. Neuroscience labs crave single-cell resolution. And every government pouring billions into life sciences wants tools that deliver answers, not just data. If NanoString plays its cards right, it can ride this wave all the way to market leadership. Then there's clinical expansion. Until now, most of NanoString's work has stayed in the research arena. But what if those same platforms, those same spatial snapshots, could be used for diagnostics? Imagine a world where oncologists use cosmics to determine the best immunotherapy before a patient is ever treated, or where Encounter guides treatment plans for complex diseases in hospitals worldwide. The regulatory path is tricky, sure, but the opportunity, massive. Unlocking even a sliver of that clinical utility could transform NanoString from a research tools company into a diagnostics powerhouse. Let's not forget global markets. Right now, NanoString is strongest in North America and Europe, but research spending is exploding in Asia Pacific. China, South Korea, India, these aren't just fast-growing economies. They're scientific powerhouses on the rise, and they're hungry for the kinds of genomic tools NanoString offers. Strategic expansion, smart partnerships, localized manufacturing. This is fertile ground for future revenue. And while we're at it, let's talk about AI. Yes, the buzzword. But in this case, it's more than hype. Spatial biology generates complex, multidimensional data, exactly the kind of data artificial intelligence thrives on. By integrating machine learning into its software platforms, NanoString can help researchers uncover patterns, correlations, and treatment targets that would otherwise take years to decode. AI isn't just a bolt-on feature, it's a force multiplier. Even in adversity, there's opportunity. The legal setback with 10x genomics? Painful. But it could also force NanoString to innovate smarter, streamline its offerings, or pivot to regions where restrictions don't apply. It's a chance to become leaner, sharper, more focused. And here's the wild card: acquisition. With its unique tech stack and strong customer base, NanoString is a prime candidate for a buyout. Larger players, Illumina, Thermo Fisher, even Roche, could swoop in and fold NanoString's platforms into their own ecosystems. For investors, that's not a tragedy, it's a payday. So, while challenges loom large, so do the doors waiting to be kicked open. NanoString sits at a crossroads of medicine, biology, and technology. And if it chooses the right path, if it moves quickly, partners wisely, and innovates relentlessly, this company could do more than survive. It could lead the next chapter in life sciences. Let's not kid ourselves. Biotech is not a sandbox, it's a battlefield. And while NanoString Technologies has built some impressive armor, the arrows are still flying. Because in this industry, innovation isn't a guarantee of survival, it's the minimum ticket to stay in the game. First, there's the predators circling the perimeter, 10x genomics. Bigger, louder, and recently victorious in court. The IP war between them and NanoString didn't just end in a slap on the wrist, it resulted in a ban. A full-blown restriction on NanoString's GeoMix platform in the US, courtesy of the International Trade Commission. That's not just a legal problem. That's a commercial torpedo. The US isn't just any market, it's the market. Losing access means losing revenue, losing mindshare, and losing customers to the very company swinging the sword. And it doesn't stop with 10x. The spatial biology field is getting crowded. Akoya, Figen, Resolve Biosciences, each one sharpening their own edge, trying to do what NanoString does, but cheaper, faster, or simpler. That's the brutal truth of a hot market. Your success attracts competitors like sharks to blood. And when you're smaller, you swim slower. Let's talk about capital, or rather, the lack of it. NanoString isn't sitting on a war chest, its cash runway is short, its losses are deep, and its stock performance wounded. A single quarter of underperformance could send the share price into a tailspin. Investors are already jittery. If interest rates stay high, or if biotech as a sector sours again, capital could dry up. And when the money stops flowing in this business, everything else starts falling apart. R&D, marketing, even customer support. Now, let's zoom out. Supply chains remain fragile. Global instability, political tension, trade wars, any disruption in reagents, chips, or precision components could choke production lines. One missing element from one overseas vendor, and suddenly deliveries are delayed, contracts are lost, reputations are dented. And then there's the creeping shadow of obsolescence. In a field as dynamic as molecular diagnostics, today's breakthrough is tomorrow's museum piece. If NanoString can't evolve its platforms fast enough, if it can't integrate AI smarter, improve throughput faster, or bring down costs dramatically, then even loyal customers might start looking elsewhere. In biotech, loyalty doesn't survive frustration. It evaporates with one failed experiment. Finally, the macro picture. Reimbursement pressure in healthcare, budget tightening in research institutions, politicization of scientific funding. All of it feeds into a volatile ecosystem where even the most cutting-edge technology can find itself sidelined, not because it didn't work, but because no one could afford to use it. So yes, NanoString has power, has potential, but it's navigating a minefield. The question isn't just whether it can out-innovate its rivals. It's whether it can do it fast enough, smart enough, and lean enough before the walls close in. So, what does all this mean if you're an investor? Not a lab-coated scientist, not a Wall Street analyst, but someone trying to read the signs. Maybe place a smart bet on the future. NanoString Technologies is not your average stock. It's not a blue chip. It's not a safe harbor. This is a moonshot. A play on the cutting edge of biotech, where the rewards could be enormous and the risks equally unforgiving. On the one hand, they've got the goods. Proprietary platforms, global adoption, and first-mover advantage in one of the fastest-growing sectors of life sciences, spatial biology. Their technology is not just clever, it's crucial. If they can solve their legal problems, pivot into diagnostics, or even catch the eye of a larger player looking to acquire innovation on sale, you could be looking at a comeback story for the books. But this isn't a fairy tale. The company's under pressure, legally, financially, and operationally. They're bleeding cash, fighting in court, and swimming in waters thick with competitors. If they can't stabilize, if market conditions shift, or if execution stumbles even a little, this story could end the way too many in biotech do, with a delisting notice and a footnote in history. So if you're thinking of investing, ask yourself, are you here for the sprint or the climb? NanoString isn't for the faint-hearted, but for those who believe in the long game, who see opportunity in volatility, and who understand that true innovation often walks hand in hand with chaos. This might be worth watching. You just need to know the risks and hold your nerve. And that wraps it up for this deep dive into NanoString Technologies. Whether you're a curious mind, an amateur investor, or just someone trying to navigate the wild frontier of biotech, thanks for lending us your ears. This episode was part of our exclusive podcast series only on the Tech I Spy YouTube channel. If you found value in the analysis, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let us know in the comments which company you want us to dissect next. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp, your thinking critical, and your investments just a little bit clever. Thanks for listening.